It's hard to process information from someone that big, their brain.
Right.
I think most people would be lost. I think even if Elon Musk were to give me advice, I wouldn't. It would be useless to me just because I'm not at that level yet. You know, like I always tell everyone, like, if you're not making any money, the best advice you can get is from someone that's making 6 figures.
Yeah.
Or $1 million. But if you're making $1 million, the best advice you can get is not from a billionaire, it's from like someone that's making 10 million.
Yeah. As you go up, you're like, your mentor has to have a mentor, but then as you're going up, you have to also level up with who you're talking to as well.
Yeah.
Because you might outgrow that person.
Well, think about it like this, right? If you don't know how to play basketball and you go to Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
like one of the best coaches, or Eric Spoelstra, one of the best coaches of NBA history.
Yeah.
And he goes, and you don't know anything about basketball. And he's like, okay, you're gonna run this play right here. You're gonna look at it and be like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
That's the equivalent, because you know nothing about basketball. You're not gonna understand, you're not gonna comprehend the nuance of a play. You're not even gonna, it's gonna look like gibberish to you.
Yeah.
And the same thing goes for business. If I were to explain a really complex business thing to someone that has no experience, they're not gonna get it at all.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Like, I could imagine if you're playing football, you would not want your first meeting about anything to be sitting down with like a brainiac like a Bill Belichick, or Bill Parcells, or Vince Lombardi if he was still alive or whatever. You don't want to be sitting down with the most high level person, because you'll ask the basic level questions. So I think as you ascend, you have to also ascend with who it is that you're talking to.
You think it's Bill Belichick or Tom Brady? Because they were saying Tom kind of like gave him the fuck too.
Yeah,
because he won it without him.
Yeah, because I think, but then on top of that, it's like Tom went to a location where everything was set.
Yeah.
But he already had that dog in him, and then the teammates that were around him worked as well. But then I think they're both like hand in hand. They both played a large role, because early in Tom's career, it was, in my opinion, it was much more Belichick than it was Tom. And then later in Tom's career, it was more Tom than it was Belichick. But they both, I've never been a big fan of how, like, in order for one to get a lot of the credit, the other one has to be somewhat devalued. Because I think you can still say Belichick's the greatest coach of all time without, you know, also, well, I should say also mentioning that Tom Brady's the greatest quarterback of all time. Because I think now it's like, people always like to pit people against each other. Yeah. So they'd be like, all right, well, Tom had all of the success because of Belichick. Oh no, but Belichick had all the success because of Tom. I think they both coincided, you know, heavily in the output of their careers. Because at the end of the day, when they both hang them up, they're going to end up in Canton, you know, retired with that gold jacket. Or as Deion Sanders would say, they're both going to have jackets that you can't buy. So yeah, so that's the thing. But ultimately in life, competition is essential. Yeah. It's important. So anything that can push you forward, find that competitive.
What do you think about people that are scared of competition? I see a lot of people that are scared of competition. I boil it down to insecurity. I think if you're afraid of competition, you're a little bit insecure that you're going to lose. Because if you're confident you're going to win, you're not going to be afraid of the competition.
Exactly.
If we're competing at fucking singing and you're a great singer, you're going to be excited and be like, yo, I'm about to flex on you with my beautiful voice, right? If someone challenged me to a singing competition, I'm not going to be like, yeah, let's do it, because I can't sing. But if someone challenged me to a competition and things that I'm proficient in, I'd be excited about it. So I think that's what really happens with people. It's like they don't want to get their feelings hurt, so they avoid the competition. What are your thoughts? Do you feel like the same way about it?
I agree, 110%. Because now insecurity has since become like a buzzword. Yeah. But if you excel at something, this is your strong suit. Like if you cook, you throw down in the kitchen. Somebody invites you for like a cooking competition or something like that. If this is what you're truly passionate about, this is what you love, you'll jump at that opportunity. There's some people will be like, okay, I'm a little bit shy or something like that, or maybe I'm not as good as I may be. So sometimes you'll need some support behind it. But if this is what you do, you're not gonna be afraid of said competition. Oftentimes it comes from, maybe I'm not as good. So you start to let that doubt creep in. But if it's something that you know you're good at, you have a track record of this being what you're good at, you're gonna jump at the opportunities 100%. Like that. You're not gonna sit there like, oh boy, yeah, you know what, I really don't wanna compete, I don't wanna have to. No, hell no. If you've been training basketball your entire life, now you have an opportunity, it's a one-on-one contest for like 10K. You think you're not gonna take it?
100%. And that's where practice comes in too. Yeah. That's where the practice makes you better at whatever it is. Because people are always like scared to practice. Yeah. They just want to jump straight to being good, right? But like the practice comes in because those 10,000 hours, that's what contributes to your confidence. Because if you put 10,000 hours into something, you're going to be very, very confident in whatever you can deliver, you know, at the very, very high level, the highest levels. Yeah. So I think it just goes hand in hand.
Yeah. And I think you should throw yourself to the wolves. Throw yourself to the wolves at one point in your life. Of course, things have to happen at different times, but don't just live a full life of just being conservative across the board.
And
take a risk.
The dots connect for all of it too, because if you want to connect the dots to like life, to winning in life, because there's advice, and all of the advice sounds cliche, but it's all true. So when people say follow your passion, right?
Yeah.
When I break that down, follow your passion. Why do you follow your passion? Because you enjoy doing it. If you enjoy doing it, you're gonna spend a lot of time doing it. If you spend a lot of time doing it, you're gonna get very good at it. If you're gonna get very good at it, you're gonna be proficient in it. You're gonna be able to use it to make money.
Yep.
You're gonna be not afraid of competition. And the truth is, if you win in competition, which is life, you make money.
Yep.
So if you follow what you're passionate about and you go down like these routes, naturally it's going to lead to money.
Yeah, and it's not all black and white, like, oh, well, if I do this, then I'll be rich at this point. It always happens at different speeds,
right?
But then ultimately the blueprint always remains like the same in the grand scheme of things.
That's why every motherfucker gives you the same exact advice.
Right. Everything sounds so cliche, like you said. Everything sounds so basic. Everything sounds so similar. A lot of times people can say things to where it sounds different, but the baseline is always the same.
Yeah.
It's always the same, because at the end of the day, whether when you do make the money and it comes, you'll find yourself going into those passion projects and everything like that. So it naturally ends up happening like that. It's always interesting whenever people ask, like the higher level people, for advice or whatever, and it's like, it sounds so simple, because at the end of the day, it is simple. While you're going through the journey of all the adversity, you'll look back and the perspective that you gain along the journey shows you, oh wait, this is the exact same path that they were telling me that it goes on. So it's like you go through the adversity to gain the perspective. Yeah. Once you have the perspective, it gives you the enlightenment of what this is all for.
It almost like unlocks a door and you see everything.
Yeah.
Right? Because I remember looking back at my life now, I would hear all this stuff and I'm like, okay, this is corny. But you have to just listen to it in order to understand it. You have to listen to understand in the beginning, because it's not going to make sense in the beginning.
Yeah.
But eventually, if you seek, you will find the answers.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beautiful part about like life and all of this stuff. And the older you get, the wiser you get.
Yeah, the older you get,
some stuff you have to just learn through like age and wisdom.